Okay, so now what I'm going to do is follow along in the lab in the chart, and I'm going to figure out what my pitch diameters are for these two gears, okay? And then I can actually take that number, okay, and add them together, add those two diameters together and divide by 2, and that's going to give me the spacing, okay, the distance between the shafts, okay, or theoretically what it should actually be. And then I can go ahead and set it up. So I can measure and set this up. Generally speaking, what I would do is to say, okay, well, I can measure from center to center for the shaft, but that's going to be difficult. But I can more easily, more accurately measure the distance from the outside of the shaft, the outside of the shaft. So what I'm going to have to do is do the same thing with those shaft numbers as well. Now, not to confuse it, I'm going to let you calculate what those are and figure out what the shaft distances are supposed to be. You can get that stuff set up. But what I really want to talk about is measuring backlash. Now, we've seen this before in other labs. This here is a dial indicator. And as you push on this indicator stylus right here, it's going to move the needle. Every single one of those lines there on this particular gauge is 0.001 inches, okay, in one revolution. Or the complete travel is 1 inch. We're not going to need 1 inch. Once you go to your chart and you figure out what the backlash is supposed to be, we're going to be in thousands. Now, how do I set this up? Well, I'm going to use my magnetic base here, and this is a really cool setup. I can just kind of push that lever, and it makes this thing move however I want it, and I can place it into position. What I want to try to do is get as perpendicular to the tooth face as possible, and then I want to tighten this thing down. Now, making sure that it's perpendicular is important to me because that will make a more accurate measurement. Now, in this case here, this motor is holding this gear, and it may not be perfect. There may be some play in this, so I want to make sure that this is not moving. And then what I want to do is make sure that I grab this gear, and I want to just feel where it touches the tooth in one direction. Okay, so the two teeth are coming together like this, touching here, and where it's touching here. Okay, so when those gears are kind of turning, I want to feel it touch and touch. All right, that's all I want to do. And I want to read my dial and figure out what it is. So I'm holding this one straight, and I'm moving back and forth. And right at this particular moment, I have about 5 thousandths worth of backlash. Okay, now, is that the appropriate number? You're going to have to figure it out by taking a look at the chart based upon all the things that we have set up right here. But right now, the way I have this set up, I have it at 5,000. So if I need to be within 2, then it looks like I'm going to have to move those things a little closer so that I can get that. But if it needs to be more like 8 or better, then I'm going to have to move these two gears apart. And of course, this one's connected to my motor. I don't want to mess with that one. So this is going to be the gear that I'm going to adjust. So what I need to do is determine what the backlash is supposed to be. And then I actually need to set the backlash and get that correct before I have the instructor come over and take a look at my work.